Hello everyone, Sheehan here, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Brisbane, Queensland. Today I'd like to show you how I made this little card. I'm just bringing it up so you can get the effect of the glimmer on that. I'm doing this one just a little bit differently today, but similar, and I also did a YouTube last night on a similar card, but just slightly different as well, which I will show you at the end of this video. So I've done about 4 variations on it now. Now the things that you're going to need, and I'm using Pacific Point today because I've run out of just about every other blue cardstock that I own at the moment, so I'll have an order going in very shortly. And that's 8 1/4 by 5 7/8 of an inch. I'm using Glimmer paper, and that's 5 6/8 of an inch by 4 inches. That's the silver one. And again, I have taken the center out to use for a different card, just because I hate seeing it wasted when it's all covered. Then I've got the Whisper White, measuring 5 5/8 of an inch by 3 7/8 of an inch. Then I have a piece of Whisper White, measuring 9/16 of an inch by 2 3/8 of an inch, and another little piece of the silver glimmer paper measuring 11/16 of an inch by 2 1/2 inches. Okay, now the stamp set I'm using is this beautiful one called Winter Woods, and it has so many possibilities. I've done quite a few different things with this one. Oh, sorry about the glare there. And then it's going to be this stamp today, and my sentiment I'm taking from a stamp set from last year, and I love this stamp set, Star of Light. It's absolutely beautiful. It's still in the catalogue, and it's stunning, and it's got lovely sentiments. Everything about it is just beautiful, so I'd rather utilise that, seeing I have it. So the sentiment I'm using is just the Merry Christmas from here. The inks that I will be using are Blackberry Bliss, Blueberry Bushel, and Pacific Point. Okay, so first things first, you might notice that I have glitter everywhere at the moment. I did a lot of samples of things yesterday. I'm battling, there's an idea I have, but it's not quite coming together yet. I'm struggling with it a bit, and I worked on it for ages yesterday, but it's not quite right, so I decided I wouldn't use it for my card today and last night. I'll wait till I get it right. Then I'm just going to add the glimmer paper and give that a chance to dry. A bit like the tip of my glue at the moment by the looks of it. Yeah, it doesn't want to come out. That's probably my fault. I might have left the lid off too long. I do tend to get carried away with what I'm doing, and no, I'll try the other one. And I don't always remember to put the lid on straight away, which my fault. Okay. So this one's working, and I shall put the lid on it straight away. I'll sort that one out later. Okay, then we're just going to pop that on here. Isn't this a beautiful blue? I absolutely love this blue. Actually, I like all the blues that are around this year. Okay, so we'll pop that on there. And we'll just let that dry. Okay, so that's done. We'll set that aside. And then I'm going to bring in a piece of paper just to keep the mess at a minimum, hopefully. I say hopefully because I always have good intentions. It doesn't always work out. I end up with ink on me, or you know, you just never know what you're going to get. So I'll open up these stamp pads, and I'm going to start, I'll just put their sponges there. I'm going to start with the Blueberry Bushel. Oh, sorry, no, the Pacific Point. I think that's the one I want to start with. Yep, I'll start with Pacific Point. Now, I've made this little template type of thing just to sit over my cardstock, and sort of like what you do with when you're painting a picture, try and keep it in thirds. So that's about the third. So I'll get some ink on there and rub most of it off, and then pop it on here. Such a beautiful blue, and it does go on quite well. I don't mind seeing a bit of swirling in you see how it's like got the little patches, because the sky often looks like that, particularly at night if you've got clouds around. And I mean, we are sort of talking about a snowy night and that sort of thing, so you know, you do see the clouds up there. Now I'm going to use the Blackberry Bliss and just put that into it here in the sky. Kind of gives it slightly sort of stormy looking sky effect. Most of it will be covered by the blue in a minute, but I just like to bring that in there. I think it just gives it a nice, gets those purples in there, mixes it up a bit. So we'll do that, and then I'll pop that there so I don't use the wrong one. I'm going to go for some Blueberry Bushel. It's just that it takes the more aqua colour out of the blue, the Blueberry Bushel, I find. And then pop that over the purple and bring it down into the Pacific Point, over the, I should say, Blackberry Bliss. It's the purpley colours I'm trying to get. Just bring that into there. There we are. But I mean, you can sort of fiddle around with it to suit yourself. See, that gives sort of like a little bit of light behind the clouds and things like that, which if you had a moon behind the clouds, you could quite possibly get. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is put these inks away. And then I'm going to get my Versamark ink and my embossing buddy, because that is the one thing that I constantly forget to use. I'm just going to give that a second to dry a bit. So I don't really want my embossing buddy to go blue. There we go. Okay. Now, with the Versamark and this beautiful stamp. Unfortunately, my stamp is a little bit stained now, but I was using black last night and it didn't quite all come off. Okay, so now I'm going to might do a high and a low. Go there. I probably should have put my mat underneath that too, but never mind. Got that one there. I'll just quickly pop this mat under here just to make it easier. And then I'm going to bring these trees just a little bit further forward. If you look at this one, they tend to not be that far off each other, So I'll just give it a little bit of depth perception. These are such beautiful trees. Okay, so I'm going to come forward just a little bit there and pop it down like that. And I don't mind it overlapping. Okay, and then I'm going to get, not the Dazzling Diamonds, the white embossing powder, and give that a good sprinkle over. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Put that off there. Just get my little brush for any other little bits. Okay, I think that's fairly good. Okay, I'll pop this back in the jar. There we go. Put that away. Before I have like the Dazzling Diamonds, having them all over the place. Okay, sorry for the noise. I'll just let this heat up for a minute. That's going there. There we go. Starting to turn. Has that magical quality to it. Look at that. So pretty. There we go. And I really love how it's got the purple and blue of the sky up the top, and then the lighter blue for the horizon there. Okay, we'll just give that a minute to cool down. Once that is stuck down, that'll be fine too. Okay, now I'm just going to use this. I'll just cover up my Versamark ink, pop that aside. What I'm going to do is just put a fine blue line at the base of the trees, just to, I usually this is where I get all the blue all over me, because I squeeze these and try to keep it as fine as I can. And I'm just going to sort of find a line that runs with the trees that I like. I might go across there. And it's only the lightest of, sometimes I get a bit heavy-handed and get a bit carried away, but if you've ever noticed at the bottom of a lot of trees that have snow around them, well, they tend to just have, the snow comes away from the tree a bit, the base of the tree, I've noticed, and I guess that's because the snow doesn't necessarily fall as much at the base, or quite why it causes that, but it does happen. Somebody might know, be able to tell me why. But I have noticed that around all the trees here in Australia anyway, down in the snow. You're very lucky if you're overseas and you have a white Christmas, although you probably don't necessarily think you're lucky, but for all of us here in Australia, it's one of those things that everybody goes, oh, I'd love to have a white Christmas. But you're probably wishing you had our nice hot Christmases. Now, the other thing I did do with this one is I did paint the shadow here of the trunks of the trees, and I just got a little bit of ink on my brush for that. Something you can either do if you want to or not. It's just something that I like to do because I figure there's a shadow there. So I've just put a little bit of ink on my brush and put it in here. And try and use a very fine brush. Just get the direction you'd like your light to be coming from. And try and follow that hill over. Doesn't have to be very dark. And one thing you notice with shadows is they do bend. So they go with the lie of the land. So if you had like a rise there and then it dipped and went up again, you'd get that slight curve in it. Just get a little bit more paint there. Oh, ink I should say. Going up over the hill. Just trying to follow the line of the other trees. There we go. Okay. Now you could, if you wanted to, pop a little deer in there or a polar bear or, I don't know, little elves running over the hill or Santa in the sky. You know, like, use your imagination. If you've got a cat lover, someone mentioned last night, oh, why not put a glittery little cat in there? So you could actually do whatever you like with it. Now, the last thing I'm going to do with it is I'm just going to, I did put a bit of glue into my plate. Just add a little bit more here. And water. And I did get an effect of, it almost sort of washed out the ink a little bit, which I actually quite liked. I'll just get that on there. This is where I get messy. And then I'll move all the other cards so they don't get covered in it. Then I'm just going to flick this on the card, and it's got the glue in it, and I actually want it to have that sort of washed out effect. This is where a wet one comes in handy to wipe my hands, and then I'll turn that over. I'm going to sprinkle Dazzling diamonds on it. There we go. And that's the effect that I was looking for. Okay, I'm happy with that. Just flick off any extra that you don't want on there. So it's just sticking to the little splashes of water. Okay, put my Dazzling diamonds away. This is why I have glitter everywhere. I've been playing with this so much. Dare I walk around with glitter all over me. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is grab the little piece of paper, the tiny piece of Whisper White that I mentioned earlier, and on that I'm going to use the Versamark again and get my Merry Christmas on here. and hopefully line this up. It's hard when the camera's sort of there and you want to pop your head right over the top of it, but we'll see how that goes. Oh, that's not too bad. I have a bit of black ink on there, but I don't mind because it gets covered up with the embossing powder anyway. Okay. Alright, now just... Oh yes, I know what I forgot to do. Did I use the embossing buddy or not? I can't remember. I probably didn't because I'm human and I forget all the time. There we are. That's good. I'll just get any little bits that might have stuck and a little bit of noise. There it goes. Turn it around for a sec so I don't burn my fingers. Okay, so we're right to go. And then I'm going to pop it on here. Sorry, I don't have much in the way of nails at the moment. I'm doing a... Oh, look at my hands, they're dreadful. I'm doing a course in aged care and we have to have really short nails for it. And I guess that's so we don't scratch anyone or hurt anybody. So here we go. Pop that on there. That. Happy with that. And then I'm going to, with the other one, I put it on this side here. But that's seeing that's a gap there on that one. I haven't decided whether I should put something there or not. I might pop it on that side this time, I think. Alright, so we'll attach it to the card first of all. It's amazing how the glimmer paper can make everything look so pretty and Christmassy. And I love Christmas, the time of the year. My daughter, who's living with me at the moment, loves Christmas too, so we're already planning. Okay, a little bit too far over I went. There we are. Press that down. I didn't get quite enough glue. Oh, yes, I did. It's just... I always find that it takes a fair bit of pressure for it to stick to the glimmer paper. Just a tip too, I don't know if you do this, but when I'm cutting all my papers and things, I have two cutting blades on here. And this one is for cardstock. It's my better blade. And then when the blades get too old and they don't cut very well, they still cut glimmer paper fine. So I have a cross on it. I don't know if you can see that, a cross on it. So that's my glimmer paper cutter. And then this is my regular paper cutter. So just a tip if you are doing that, because I had a lot of trouble with the blades I got recently, and so I designated them for different jobs. Now this one I'm going to put up on dimensionals. One on there, one on there. See, I don't know how I managed to get covered in all this ink, but I do. So, and then I'm just going to pop that in that corner there. And we're done. And so two different skies, the lighter and the darker sky. Now, I did say that I would show you what else I did with this card, because I like it when you can do lots of variations of a card. So that's today's, and then last night I did this one with black ink, which I think is very effective too. And that was using the PVA glue and water with the Dazzling diamonds. Then this little one, I thought, okay, so I actually used some glue and white embossing powder, excuse me, and got some snow effect that way, and it actually worked with the glue. And then this one, I just sprinkled the Dazzling diamonds over it before it was really dry, and just picked up the shine on the card. So there is my variations of this card, and there's today's. So I'm sure there's lots you could do, lots of things you could sit in there. As I said, you know, like you could put a little animal in there, or Santa in the sky, anything you wanted, maybe a moon, I don't know. You could do all sorts of things, birds. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe to my channel if you would like to, and any questions you have, please don't hesitate to ask. If you're in Australia, I have a link to my online store, and I can help you out anywhere in Australia. Stampin' Up are great at sending things out straight away. You don't have to have them come to me, then go to you. They go straight to you, but you need to go through a demonstrator. And there is a link to my Facebook page too, which is it's the fun time. We chat. People are on the line, and it's good. My daughter usually does it with me. We have a bit of fun, but sometimes people just want to see the card done, and so I understand that. So that's why I do the YouTube one straight up like this. But please go to the link if you'd like to see what we do on a Wednesday night, and have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.